I say that as we move on in life, every other day is Shabbos, every other week is Rosh Chodesh, and every other Chodesh is Rosh Hashanah. That's it. Time just has a funny way of moving on. Okay, so here we go. It's crazy. It's crazy. So here we go. There we go. So Parshat Chukas. Right? The Be'er Adonai Moshe v'Aaron Lemor. Those Chukas HaTorah Shetziva Adonai Lemor. Now Be'er B'nei Yisrael v'Koy Lecha Parah Aduma Tmima Asher Ibamu Mashalo Ola Ol. So you have to go ahead and it's a chok, quintessential chok. Chok, we don't really understand the reasons for it. The Rambam makes it very clear in his Moer and Avuchim Guide to the Perplexed. The Bible Guide to the Perplexed is made up of 3 books. The 3rd book, on chapter 30 or so on till the end, he talks about Ta'amei HaMitzvot. He says it's very foolish to think that a chok is something without a reason. Chok means you have what's known as a mishpat, mitzvahs that we understand, can't steal, can't kill, and a chok mitzvah we don't understand. He says, but don't think it means a mitzvah doesn't have reason. We certainly want to attribute to God reason behind everything he does. Everything has a reason. We may not always understand it. And even there, all the commentaries do try to give reasons for the chukim, but they admit that it's speculation. So here it's quintessential chok, because this one goes in the process becomes tahor from it. This one's in the process becomes tameh. Things that are the opposite and counterintuitive, so they call this a quintessential chok. But either way, here's the chok. Here's what happens. He takes a paradamash mum. There's no mum in it, and ashalo Allah ol. It was not worked in any way. The Mishnayos in Para, Yavshisha Sivre Mishnah, Zera in Moe Nash and Zik and Kachim Taharos. So in Taharos, you have all the Mishnayos on this topic, and it goes through all the halachot. And there's 2 things: anything that would be a mum in an animal, that a blemish that would not be allowed to be brought as a korban. That's one issue. And then you have specific blemishes by the paradise. We read, if it has white hair, then that's a problem. There's a few in Israel today, brought over, if I'm not mistaken, from Texas. There you go. Texas is on the map and brought over here, overseen by rabbis to make sure they're kosher. If I'm not mistaken, a few of them already developed some white hair, so they're no longer kosher as Aduma, but there are a couple, if I'm not mistaken, that are still kosher, and this rabbis overseen. If I'm not mistaken, Rav Ariel, the famous head of the Temple Institute, he conquered Har HaBayis in 1967. He was there with Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook. He was there on Har HaBayis with Tzvi Yehuda Kook, which is a fascinating story because the many Talmidim of Tzvi Yehuda Kook say that Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook was totally against going up to Har HaBayis, and many of the ones who write the most against it are his students, Tzvi Yehuda Kook students. But Rav Ariel is also one of the students. He says, no, it's not received this position. And I personally was with him on Har HaBayis in 1967. So they said, no, it's a one-time thing. They argue about what exactly happened. Either way, so Rav Ariel, if I'm not mistaken, his son is one of the mumchim, the experts on Paraduma, and they're overseeing it, getting it ready. So when we learn this parasha on Paraduma, it shouldn't just be a nice little piece of history that we learn about the Paraduma. It shouldn't be that way at all. It should be getting ready. And you go ahead and you bring it to Elazar HaKohen. And in the first generation, okay, the mitzvah of the power of Rishon. So right now, so let's say you never know how the mikdash is going to come about. Anyone that tells me they know what's going to happen, I don't believe you. We don't know. Is it going to fall from Shemayim? Maybe. There's a Rashi that seems to indicate that. Do I believe it's going to happen that way? I highly doubt it. I think we're going to build it. I don't know if it's going to be as glorious as we think it's going to be. My guess, it's only a guess, is that's going to be like the second Mikdash, where we're going to start building it. Then you have all the animal rights people going to go against it, all the world's going to go against it, the Palestinians are going to go against it. It's going to be a long and windy road. It is not going to happen like that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it falls down for Shemaim today, and I'm totally wrong. And you'll say, hey, Danny Wise, you're wrong. I said, Baruch Hashem, I'm wrong. So Halavai should all fall down for Shemaim today, the way everyone hoping and dream for it to be that way. But another possibility would be that it's this long, windy road. We stop building it. UN stops us, and all different things that are going on. But we're going to have this paraduma in one way or another. And the avoda, who's doing it? Who is doing it? So do we first have to anoint a Kohen Gadol? Now, when do you have a Kohen Gadol? For which service in the Mikdash is only a Kohen Gadol? Which day of the year? Yom Kippur. Okay. So do we need a Kohen Gadol here? No, we do not. Okay. But there's something similar to Yom Kippur. Because Yom Kippur, he's taken out of his house for his family for how long? A week, 7 days. And so to this Kohen. Doesn't have to be the Kohen Gadol. Let's take our beloved senior Kohen in our shul, Shimon Kohen. Even if he's not the Kohen Gadol, maybe he will be. But even if he's not, he could be the one. Okay. Now you'll say, but wait a second. It says here, "Milakach Elazar haKohen midama betzbo v'zal noch bnei omeod midama sheva pamim." It says that it's Elazar mitzvata biskan. The mitzvah is the skan Kohen Gadol, the assistant of the Kohen Gadol. He does the mitzvah. So then Shimon Kohen would have to be the skan Kohen Gadol, the assistant. So the Siftei Chachamim says, Para Aduma Zu, this first Para Aduma done in Moshe's times, mitzvata biskan, was done with the assistant. Ledoro Davka Yeshlama Davka Kohen Gadol. Some want to say only the Kohen Gadol, like Yom Kippurim, and others say no, any Kohen will do, and that's how we pass it. Okay, so any Kohen. Okay, and then he tells us about it, and I want us to feel what's going on in this base of Mikdash when we have the Paraduma. To me, it is so important to bring Korbanos alive, because it's 2,000 years since we've had Korbanos. So yeah, we haven't seen it. You're not going to have a natural shifa, longing towards the korbanos. Not only do we not have a natural longing to it, but the opposite. Many of us are like, the blood. If you're not into blood, that's not going to work. If you're into animal rights, that's not going to work. We animal rights people. You know what? We'd like to believe it's all going to be so simple and black and white. Just look at the temple. All the people against us were there. They started the big mess and they stopped us from building it. It's not going to be so simple. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe it's going to be all nice and like the picture you're painting. It's hard to know. Okay. I'm scared of animals. Huh? If people are scared of animals, we have aversions to animals. So it's not easy to be excited about the Mikdash and the different avodas that happen. So we need to learn about it. Yes, Jackie.
Hashem put such an obstacle in our way.
What do you mean?
Why would he make it? If this is all going to happen in this red heifer, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
If it's there and Israel and Israel's ready, why would Hashem put the obstacle of everybody just behaving like
Wow, but it's a great question. And as a proper Jew and rabbi, I'll answer your question with a question. Why would we go ahead and God let Hamas be here? Why there's so many impediments
because
to so many
leading us to that place.
So, but whatever you answer to give to any question you ask about, why do I have this impediment, that I have all the people on the left that's putting Chayalim in jail for killing terror. Like there's so much craziness going on. The quick answer, Jackie, is Bechira Chofshit. God gave us a Torah. He gave us the world free will. And we're not robots, and he does not intervene in our free. And sometimes we make horrible decisions. This whole war we're involved in is some sick decisions in 2005 to pull out from there. Sick. That was our decisions as a nation. And then to go ahead and have electronic security, and we don't need boots on like all these sick, horrible ideas that are disastrous, and we cause our own downfall. But that's why God set up the world. So my answer to your question is a general question. That's how God set up the world. We didn't just make it any quick fixes. Well, that's another topic, but I'm just answering your question. No, God never promised a rose garden in any shape or form. He gave us a Torah and the mitzvahs, and we, as mankind, as a Jewish nation, have to work towards it. We have to have our fights. We have to have our arguments. Can we do it in a civilized way? Can we not do it? So that's our choice. And he pulls back. That's part of the world that he created. Okay? So now he gives us the details. Elazar Kohen comes. Rambam passes it's any Kohen nowadays. V'saraf et ha'parah. and he burns the parah, and they're like, okay, it's there's different elements are involved in this process. And then you go ahead and you have a saref, the one who burns it, he has to retire his clothing. And Vasaf Ishas Efa Parah, and then you have the Efa Parah. And he puts it in a makom tahor michutz lamachane. What chutz lamachane? Where are we putting this? So chutz lamachane we had early on in Sefer Bamidbar, where there's 3 machanot they had in the Midbar. Machane of the Shechina, where the Kodesh Kodashim was the Mishkan. The machane of the Leviim, and then around them was the machane of whom? The tribes, Yisrael. Those are the 3 machanot. So when he says here, we have the Afer, Makla, the Afer from the Parah is Chutz Machane. Let's look at Rashi. One is put on Har Mishcha. What is Har Mishcha? Anyone know what Har Mishcha is? The mountain of Mishcha oil. Har Hazesim. Har Hazesim. Har Hazesim. So, Echanam Bahar Mishcha, Echem Mitchalek, the call of Mishra. One is given to all the Mishrot of the Kohanim when they're there to matar themselves. Echanatam Bechel, and one was left in the Chel section of the Harbais, which we'll talk about in a moment. Zesho Mishrot Hayachutz Lazara, Lito Mimenu Beneha Ayarot, Bechot Shechni Taher. The one that was in the Mishmarot, it was not in the Azara. Why? Lito Mimenu Beneha Ayarot, Bechot Shechni Taher. So that way, anyone that comes to the Har Habayit, he needs that Afer, and it's left outside the Azara, so he could go to the Azara in Tahara. The one that was left on Har Hazeisim, Kohanim, Kohanim Gedolim, Barot Acherot, Mekach, they'd leave it there to use to Metaher the Kohanim for future Parot Acherot. And the one that's in the Chel, the one in the Chel was there as Xeris HaKasa. So just listen to this. I meant that I have to follow this morning, Baruch Hashem, at 7 o'clock. I davened Shacharis on our bais this morning, right where we talk about. So when I read this Rashi, I know so many people don't agree with me, and everyone has the right to choose the wrong opinion. That's fine. Sorry, that's not nice. Not nice. Anyways, so you have to believe in what you do, no? Anyways, so they're missing. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's a terrible thing I'm doing. It could be, but the Sukkim and Rashis that we read that are just so alive that it just means something totally different to people who live it and breathe it. Okay, so this Rashi is only understood by someone who really is there. It's a different level of understanding. That doesn't make it right. Maybe I'm wrong. I have a friend in the neighborhood who are good friends, but he's Baruch Hashem, he's a very honest guy. And every time he sees Rabbi Myers, it's so happy to see your life. Even though you're high of kares, and you're so wrong for going to our bias, but you're still here, and he gives me a big hug. Okay. We call that a respectful, friendly disagreement. So, but listen to the Rashi and let me explain to you so you really understand it. Okay. So, we all know the kosel. So that assume the western side's there, that's the kota. On the outside is the kota. We're all up the Kedush and the Tahara on the Har Bayis now. I mean, it's Shem. That despicable golden object is removed. I took an RPG this morning, blew it up. Oh, so that's gone. We got the basement. So now, that's the southern side. That's the western side. People are on the opposite side, on the Kotel side. Then you have the eastern side, and then you have the northern side. Okay. Now, let's understand this Rashi clear. Okay. So he says, they prepare the Afer of the Parah, and then they put it in 3 places. Now, how does this preparation go? So the Kohen, any Kohanim here? You're a Kohen. So let's assume that we're going to be doing it next Thursday. So you need to go ahead and say goodbye to your wife today and say, I'll see you in a week from now. And just like the Kohen Gadol is separate from his family, and he has a week in the Migdash B'Kedusha V'Tahara before Yom Kippur, so too a Kohen, could be a Kohen Gadol or a regular Kohen, comes into the Migdash, okay? And he's there for the week, the Kedusha over Tara, preparing for the Paradim. So you're here for a week. Where are you staying? Where are you staying? So you stay. So just understand. Let's assume this is a great, this table. This is the Azara, okay? Which is great because it's the raised up area in the Temple Mount, the Azara. Not every meter of the raised area is Azara. We actually could go a little bit onto it and before we hit the Azara itself. But let's assume now this is the Azara, okay? On the western end is right now, unfortunately, tragically, the Golden Dome on the western end. And then over on the other side is the Kotel, okay? The Kotel is, west, south of where the Dome of the Rock is, okay? So when we walk around, we walk on the Har Habayis, okay? And the Azara consists of the Kodesh Kodashim Holy of Holies. Then you have the Kodesh. And in the Kodesh is the little Mizbeach, the menorah, and the Shulchan. Then as you come further east, you have the big Mizbeach. It's massive. Then as you come further east, you have the Ezrat Kohanim, the Ezrat Yisrael, the Ezrat Nashim, and the Chel. The Chel was an area a few amos wide, which was a buffer zone around the whole Azara. Okay? Now, the Kohen would spend his week right in here, in the Azara, in a compartment there where they would take care of all his physical needs and everything, and he'd be Kedusha and Tara for the week. When it came the time for the Paraduma, those of us that grew up in America, we heard the expression, go west, young man. Here, it's go east, young man. And he comes over here to the eastern side. The Paraduma is not processed on the Migdash area. They have to go to Har HaMishcha, oil, which we call today Har Hazesim. Har Hazesim. So as I'm walking on the eastern side today, little lookouts, from the old wars where it's wide and then it gets tiny, so you could shoot out, they can't shoot in. I got a little glimpse, and I'm looking at Har Hazesim, and I'm looking at where, from right here where I'm standing, they're going to build a bridge that goes over the valley. It's a deep valley, so they don't walk down the valley. They walk on that bridge. On the bridge, they walk from Arava. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very sweet. So you walk on the bridge to Har Hazesim. Now it's filled up with bars, right?
Still a long walk.
It's a nice walk. No, but when you have a bridge, it's 2-3 minutes. I was looking at it this morning and I'm dreaming about this Parshat.
In the past, I walked down the valley, up the valley.
So now it's going to be a straight bridge.
7 o'clock in the morning. I said, from 7 o'clock in the morning, you need to drink, Rabbi.
Right. So the Kohen goes there with the parah and some of the zakanim from the base of Mikdash, and they process it there. And that's where they prepare, and they're facing the Mikdash, so they're facing west, because they're in the east part of the Har Hazesim, okay? And that's where they process it. And this is all discussed, not in the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch only has halacha lemais, and this unfortunately is not lemais today. But the Mishnayos in Para goes through all this, and the Rambam goes through everything, detail after detail. He goes through it, and he goes through every step. What's a paraduma? And which coin is allowed to do it? And where was the coin all week long? And who escorted him over the bridge? And how the bridge was built in a way that they spend so much time making sure his tahor, and now he's leaving the Migdash area. He's just setting himself up for Tumah. Maybe there's graves underneath there And the tumor of graves goes up. Every once in a while, Kohanim have a problem flying, either because there's a mace on the plane or because the path of the plane goes over a graveyard and the tumor goes up. So the bridge is built in a way, and then the graves are there underneath, built in a way where there's space over the bodies, halal tefach, so that the tumor doesn't go up to that bridge. And he goes there for Kedusha V'Tahara and prepares. And now we can understand the Rashis. Because what does the Rashi say? That after you go through this process, what happens? You take the eight for the ashes that were burnt, and the Mishnayos go through details how to produce the ashes from the Paraduma. And it says, one is left there. We leave one there on Har HaZeisim. One is good mishmarot are the groups of Kohanim that are on duty that week. And one is in this section, which is the buffer zone. Why? What are the three doing? The mishmarot was outside of the azara. Lito, so it's outside. This is the azara, and this is the chel. Why is it kept in this area? Lito mimenu b'nei ha'ayarot, people coming from the city. V'kol hatzrichim lehitaher, whoever needs to be tahor. Wait a second, you're leaving it by the chel, but how are the city people going to reach that place? To get to the chel, you have to first step on Har Habayit. Don't forget, on all four sides is Har Habayis, and then in the center is the Azara. And the buffer zone is the chel, which means this area all around is Har Habayis. How do they get to Har Habayis if they need to have Tahara from the Afer? Do you hear my question? And what's the answer? The answer is, when I was up there this morning, I didn't have the Paraduma. I went up Tamei Mace like all of us are. Say with any mice, it's not a problem. No. There's no problem to be on Har Habayis with Tumas Mace. Har Habayis, you have to remove other Tumah. A woman who's in Nidah has to go to the mikveh first. Man who has relations has to go to the mikveh first. And B'Kedusha V'Tahara. And he has to, and he goes, makes sure he's clean, takes a shower. Hasidim are going to mikveh every day. They're not doing it as a halachic change from Tumah Tahara. It's a minhag Hasidim have, goes back to Ezra. It's a beautiful minhag they have. That's separate. This is a phenomenon. I make a bracha in the mikveh. I'm changing from Tumah to Tahara to go to Har Habayis. And the Rashi is clearly saying that there's no problem for the people from the city to come on Har Habayis. Obviously, they go to the mikveh or Mayan first, and then they could get up to the chel. And once up to the chel, then they would need what? The for the ashes from the paraduma for the next step to get further, move further on. Okay? And then he says, V'zeh shebahar ha-mishcha, and that which in Har Mishcha over there, not over there. Har Mishcha is sorry. Sorry, I confused here. Zesho Mishmara, the Mishmara that had the oil, the Afer accessible, they had it Chutz LaAzara. It was Chutz LaAzara, so that way anyone that comes, they could come from the cities up to the Azara, not including, and then we'll help you to become Tahor so you can get further in. Zesheb Har Mishcha, on Har Mishcha, that was for Kohanim to prepare for future Parat Adumot in the future. And that which is Nachel, that was put over here as a Gezeras HaKasuv, that was L'Adla B'nai Yisrael Mishmeres. Just to be there, to keep it, for people to know that there's such a phenomenon of Paraduma, people to see such a thing. Okay, so that's the process of Paraduma. So on the one hand, the reasons behind the Paraduma, it's a big mystery, it's a chok and all that. But the process of Paraduma is no more of a chok than Shabbos, than Geneva, than anything else. It's a halachic world. And in a halachic world, you have the process that goes on. Yes? Everyone. Everyone becomes tal from it. So in our history, you have Moshe did the first one, this week's Parsha. Ezra did the second one. In the second Mikdash, we had a good run of 7 for those 420 years. And then the next one is going to be done, B'mheira V'yameinu, with the Kohen. Who's it going to be? No way to know. And it's going to be done. Where right now, halachically, in my opinion, Parshat that we could go to Har Bayis today, as long as you go to Gedusha V'Tara and prepare properly. But that next step, the Azara, as it says, that we're going to have the Eifa there, so that we could go ahead and have Tahara and go to the next step. So why is it so important to talk about it? In my opinion, it's time to learn the Parsha, always important no matter what. But to go ahead and learn about this topic, which is a foreign topic to many of us. Many of us don't know anything about it. Many of us have resistance against this, the whole idea of Korbanah, animal sacrifice, this, that. We have resistance. Not just we're ignorant of what happened 2,000 years ago and we haven't seen it, anyone. It's the resistance many have. We need to learn about it. And the Pasuk of Dvarim says, the Shichno Sidrashu Uvasa Shama. When you are Dorish and you seek out the Shechina, the Migdash, the processes that went on in the Migdash, the Sichno Sidrashu, if you seek it out, Uvasa Shama means what? Then you're going to get there. But if you don't seek it out, and you don't give a darn about this whole thing, and you simply wait for God to bring it down from Shemayim, so in my humble opinion, God waited 2,000 years without doing anything, and God forbid this could go on who knows how much longer if we have what I consider to be a misguided approach of being passive and just waiting it out. We have to be seeking out, we have to be learning about it, thinking about it, becoming well versed in these halachot, and showing God, hey, it really means something to me. And whether you go up to our bias like those us Meshuggahs or you don't, it doesn't matter. At least learn about it. And even if you maintain, no, it's also to go, my rabbi said you can't go. So don't go. But be prepared that when we have a Mikdash today, you'll know something what to do. Otherwise, you're just saying it's a joke. It's a joke. I know nothing what to do. I have clues about all of it, but it doesn't matter. It'd be like a person coming into Shabbos. Well, how do you keep Shabbos? I have no idea. So, take it seriously. You don't know if you can put lights on, to this, hot water, you don't know anything. No, you may. It's a joke for you, it's not real. So this is a joke. So we have to take it seriously. We have to learn these parashos, whether they're chukim, mishpatim, it doesn't matter. And in Mias Hashem, we're going to have those 4 words. The Shechno Sidrashu. We're going to be seeking out his Shekhinah by learning about it. And then, and in my opinion, only then are we going to have the next 2 words, Ubasa Shama. That's how we're going to get there. Mias Hashem. Yibana Beis Hamikdash, B'mheira V'yameinu. Okay, everyone should be well. Nice to have everyone here. And Jackie, welcome. Nice to have you here. I said nice to have you.